Hello, I'm Miles with Next Generation Sports, and my guest today is Ron Colangelo. So, he is the Vice President of Communications for the Detroit Tigers. And so, with that title, what is really what you do for the Tigers?
Well, Miles, good to be with you. And there's a lot that goes into my job on a daily basis. While we play baseball games pretty much every day during the season, there's a lot of different responsibilities that I have on any given day, and there's circumstances that come up. But I oversee all of public relations and media relations for the team, and that means working with the media, whether it's digital writers that cover the team on a daily basis, TV reporters, radio stations, photographers, those who have podcasts. It could be local, it could be regional, meaning across the state of Michigan, where media covers the team, or it could be nationally, say MLB Network, ESPN, USA Today, those types of outlets. I work very closely with the general manager of the team. We are in constant contact. I work with the manager of the team, the players, and all of the different departments that we have in our organization that I can touch on, during our conversation.
All right. So you were with the New York Jets as the Vice President of Public Relations from 2002 to 2007, and then you switched over and started being more. You switched over to be with the Tigers. What was the reason why you switched from the NFL to the MLB?
Well, I actually started in minor league baseball. When I finished up with college, I was in minor league baseball. And then I went to work in the National Hockey League with the Florida Panthers. And from there, I had an opportunity to go back to baseball and work at the major league level with the Florida Marlins. And it was there at the Marlins that I actually was promoted to a vice president to oversee more departments and have a bigger staff. After the Marlins, there was an opportunity to go to the Jets. So I went from baseball to hockey, hockey to baseball, baseball to football, football back to baseball. There's no pattern other than it's all sports, and it's been three sports for me. So a lot of people are wondering if I'm going to go to the NBA next. I don't know. But I really enjoy being with the Tigers because it's such a historic franchise. And you go where there's opportunity for professional growth, or you go where there may be people that you previously worked with that want to have you join the organization because there's a comfort level. They know the type of professionalism you bring to the job. And that's pretty much the case here. And that's how I landed in Detroit. I knew a lot of people from the Florida Marlins that are actually running the ball club now here in Detroit.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So you said that you started your career in minor league baseball. You were
Yeah.
a play-by-play announcer for the Montreal Expos minor league team
Yes.
in Palm Beach. So what was it like being play-by-play, doing play-by-play?
Oh, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of preparation, because when I did radio. And when you're doing radio, you have to be the eyes and the ears and really paint a picture for those listening to make them feel like they're at the game. And there's a lot of preparation, whether it's statistics and like we do here at the major league level. We have a lot of this information that we give to the broadcasters on radio and TV. They're called game notes. And you would probably love these, being the avid baseball fan you are. It really gets deep into batter-pitcher matchups and all kinds of interesting tidbits that is so unique to baseball because of all the sports. And I get asked this question quite a bit. Statistics in baseball seem to be the most interesting, more so than, like football or hockey or basketball. Because batting averages are, what's he batting? What's his batting average? How many home runs does he have? What's the pitcher's ERA? And then another part of broadcasting is you've got to follow the game very closely. You can't miss a batter, and you really can't miss a pitch. So you have to keep score. And we provide score sheets, and we also have score books. So you have to be very uh, smart in your preparation, so you know what you want to talk about when Miles comes up to bat. Maybe I get to know a little bit more about Miles, like some of the things he likes off the field, so we could build somewhat of a human nature picture of him. Fans like to hear that, like what Miles' favorite movie is, or his favorite ice cream, or things like that. But you really have to prepare a lot when you're a broadcaster. It's not, there's a lot of knowledge that you have, but every game is different. The lineup could be different, and there's always something to talk about, and that's the fun part about it. The game itself will unfold, and you can describe the action, and you can create that excitement for the listener. So I really enjoyed it a lot when I was in the minor leagues. And I'll give you one more thing about the minor leagues. You don't have a big staff. You do all the work yourself, and that was something that kind of helped me gain a really good work ethic, knowing that I had to do all of that work to try to be as the best I could, give the best presentation as a broadcaster, and that has helped me as I've moved up in my career.
Yeah, I really am very fascinated in baseball statistics because I'm a math guy and
Nice, yeah,
baseball is like my passion. And if I could blend the two together, it's really a big like inspiration for me.
that's great.
So I know that there's a lot of members who in over multiple teams that don't really play baseball that like they didn't play baseball. Did you ever play baseball at any level?
I did. I played baseball. I played in Little League, and I played Babe Ruth. Um, Little League for 3 years. I was in, I guess it was fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. Was an all-star my last year in sixth grade. Um, and then I played Babe Ruth baseball, which is basically like it's like seventh, eighth, and ninth grade. Before then, you become a high school player, and that's where I stopped. I played Babe Ruth, and I don't know why I stopped. I just stopped. I wish I would have kept playing. It was a lot of fun to be part of a team, and have that camaraderie, and I really enjoyed it. I played a lot of baseball. I played a lot of street hockey because we didn't have ice rinks in my hometown, and we played a lot of street hockey. I loved playing street hockey, and I liked playing basketball. So those were probably my big three.
All right, yeah. So you like working with the media and public relations kind of. Do you do much with like tops or baseball card companies?
I do, in the respect of we gave them the access to take the pictures. They have to come through our office to get the credential, and these are credentials. These are press passes that you have to have this type of credential to gain access into the ballpark, and then you can either go on the field, or go in one of the photo wells, or even go in some different areas of the ballpark to take the pictures. Now, with regards to tops, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll set up um, what we call a photo station down at spring training in Lakeland, Florida. And we have photo day. So the baseball card companies and some other media outlets come on that particular day, and all the players are available. They're in their uniforms. They pose with their bats. They have their gloves. And that's when we shoot for tops. Now, again, tops has the access to shoot some action shots during the spring training games, and then even in the regular season games. Tops just put out this really cool card of Miguel Cabrera hitting a home run in the snow on opening day. I don't know if you saw that,
Yeah, that was really cool
but they
because
they put out they put out a baseball card for like, I think 48 hours that was available. So it was very unique and a hot commodity. And so baseball cards have come back. They're becoming very popular again, as you probably know. You probably have a whole bunch there on your
yeah.
desk and on your bookcase. But yeah, I love baseball cards and tops. We work very closely with them. They're a great company, and they're really a fabric, a part of baseball. Like, again, baseball cards mean so much. Just like the statistics and all. There's all of it ties together.
So you've worked in many different leagues for different teams. Out of um, besides where you've worked, what other teams or what other sports would you want to work with or work for?
Well, I have enjoyed working in all three sports so far with the NFL, MLB, and NHL, and they're all different. They're all unique. It's a different sport. Players are different, but there is that uh, commonality of players work very hard. They put a lot of work in. There's a lot of passion, and at the end of the day, everybody is trying to win, and there's that competitive spirit, and that's the fun part of it. Like we lost yesterday. We're not playing very well at the moment, but we have a new game today, so we hope that someone hits a couple of home runs. Our starting pitcher pitches into the seventh inning, and we can win today. And we can turn things around. Um, as far as the NBA would be interesting. I am a big basketball fan. I don't know what particular team. I mean, it would be cool to work with. I actually like the New York Knicks because I'm from New Jersey. I also like the Portland Trailblazers. I'm a big Damon Lillard fan and CJ McCollum. They're two of my favorites. I actually watch a lot of their games on the NBA package. They're on late at night, so I turn them on. Like I watched last night, and I was very frustrated because they had a chance to win at the end and they lost. But I like basketball, and I really really love watching global soccer, which is really called football. To the purists of the game. I like Chelsea. They're my favorite club over in England in the Premier League. And so they have a match today at 12:30. I will have probably my iPad or maybe my cell phone going as I'm watching the Tigers game. I'll have that on, and we'll have the Tigers game on, and I'll be, multitasking, keep an eye on and see if Christian Pulisic scores a goal. Um, I've been to Spain. I've been fortunate to have traveled a lot. And 2 years ago, I went to Real Madrid Stadium, the Bernabeu, and I went to Barcelona Stadium, um, Camp Nou in Barcelona for tours of the stadium. I didn't get to see matches because they weren't in season. But just global soccer is so much fun. World Cup, all that, and that would be cool. Like to work for a Premier League team. Um, do you watch? I don't know if this show is kind of appropriate or not for you. How old are you, Miles? Like 14, 15?
I'm 13, but yeah,
13. Yeah, I don't know if it's appropriate for you, but Ted Lasso is on
I watched it.
Apple. You do? Okay, you
Yeah, I
watched it.
watched
Good.
it. Yeah.
It's a fantastic show, and they're coming out with season 2, and that would kind of be me, maybe. I'd be the American vice president of communications over in England and for a soccer team, and just saying all the wrong things, but having a good time doing it.
Yeah. I'm an Arsenal fan myself, but
Okay, that's not funny. He's real tall and lanky. But
yeah,
no, global soccer is so much fun, and I like the fact that it's only 2 hours when you're watching it on TV, and there's no commercials. It's just
yeah,
halftime, and the game keeps going. So that's I like that because in baseball sometimes we can play 3.5 hours, 4 hours, have rain delays, and it's a grind. It's a grind.
yeah. So the next question that I have for you is, out of everywhere where you've worked, where have you liked the most?
Well, they've all been unique and fun in their own way. I've been fortunate to really had a diverse demographic and geographic opportunities. New York's, one of the greatest cities in the world. There's always such a great vibe, and I grew up not far from New York City, so New York was a lot of fun, especially working for an NFL team, very high profile. The baseball team in Miami was fun because we won a World Series, and that kind of brought the whole community together back in 1997. And I love the warm weather, and I love the beaches, and so that had something different than New York. And then here in Detroit, there's a lot of culture and history, and there's just a whole different vibe to the sports landscape here. People here in Michigan really love their teams. I mean, that's like religion. They're so passionate, even if the team's not doing well. You know, like the Lions or the Pistons right now, and the Tigers right now. The Red Wings, a very historic franchise. So each has been different, and I've learned a lot from each marketplace. So it's kind of all been a great experience for me.
Sure,
So
go right on ahead.
you have a Phillies T-shirt on. Is there a name on the back of that T-shirt? Harper, Real Muto, Mike Schmidt, maybe? I don't know.
There isn't, but I do have like I've got two shirts in my closet and two jerseys that have names on the back. So
Of current Phillies or
one is old Philly,
okay,
and three are current. So
cool. I like the fact that I have a son who is going to turn 11, and he loves watching the history of baseball. He's really into Jackie Robinson, and he's watched the movie probably a half dozen times to really get an understanding of what Jackie had to go through. But he really likes watching the older players too. So that's a lot of fun to see young baseball players or fans like yourself who have an appreciation for the history of the game, and our own players too, like on the Tigers. These guys are young guys, you know, they're in their early 20s, mid 20s, and a lot of guys really know the history of baseball. And I think that's really important to be a well rounded fan, but really to get the most enjoyment out of it.
okay, so the next question that I have for you is how has your job and the entire Detroit Tigers franchise been affected by the global pandemic?
Oh, greatly affected. And that's a really good question. Uh, we got shut down at spring training in March of last year, and you don't know the big unknown of when you're going to start again, or are you going to start again? And you know your number one concern is the health and safety of your family and your friends, and you know extended to your coworkers, and then obviously anyone that you know, just to see how people are dealing. And none of us have ever been through this. You know, your parents and grandparents probably have never been through something like this, where basically the entire world is being shut down, and it shut down our business, and it affected us greatly. We were able to play games last summer with no fans in the stands, which was not a lot of fun. Not fun for the players because they were playing in empty ballparks, which they're not used to doing. And it was very very rough and challenging. We're blessed that we were able to stay healthy, keep our jobs, and we are really appreciative of all the frontline workers, essential workers, who have put themselves at risk um, for all of us to be safe and to kind of still have a normal life. So hopefully people are getting vaccinated, which is something that we're supporting. You know, present day, our entire team has had the opportunity to get vaccinated, and there's a majority of the team has been. So that's good because then you're pretty much, you know, preventing from getting COVID. So, yeah, greatly impacted the economy of baseball, of all sports. But there is a lot of optimism as we get into the later part of this year and into the fall and the winter that hopefully we'll have some normalcy and get back to all of us packing stadiums and cheering loud and you know, seeing some great sports.
Yeah,
In
I'm waiting for that day to come when I can just go to a Phillies game and just like sitting in a packed ballpark with a bunch of people that I don't know and just be able to talk baseball
Yeah,
with
you
them.
know, you take it for granted the opportunity to go to a sporting event. I don't know if you're a Flyers, Sixers, Eagles fan. Is that the case?
Yeah, I'm a fan of most teams. I've started to get a little bit more into hockey than I have been, but that's mainly because the Flyers have been doing half decent.
Flyers are a great franchise. I mean, I know they haven't won the Stanley Cup in a long time, but they've always been a great franchise and a franchise I've always liked and followed closely. Have such a great history, and they do a really nice job. Their organization for the fan experience and the product on the ice is so much better, and that's because uh, the general manager Chuck Fletcher is doing a great job, and he's someone that I actually worked with at the Florida Panthers a long time ago. So, I was telling you earlier that you build relationships in different sports, and you just never know where you could have an opportunity to go next.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you were talking about earlier about your love for soccer, and
Yeah.
you actually developed the framework and executed the plan to bring the first ever global soccer match to Detroit.
Yes.
And so, if you wouldn't mind just speaking on that a little bit and that experience for you and how that had affected your love for soccer.
Well, this is the binder. I took out the this is the entire binder that is kind of my A to Z guide. There was a lot that went into this. We had never hosted a soccer match at Comerica Park, and when one of my bosses called me into his office and said, "We might be hosting a soccer match, Rome against Paris." I don't know anything about soccer, and then I started asking all these questions, and I found out it was Roma against PSG, and it was the International Champions Cup, and they wanted to play a match at our ballpark. I got so excited that became like my main focus. And we put a lot of things down on paper, mapped it all out, and lo and behold, we had our first soccer match here at Comerica Park, and it was so much fun. We had a really cool press conference out front of our ballpark with a giant inflated soccer ball next to our big tiger. If you Google images, the big tiger outside of Comerica Park, it is truly one of the most iconic and coolest spots to take a photo with. And then we had a big soccer ball next to it and had a press conference. And then we had the match here, and we pretty much sold out the match. And it was so cool to be part of all of that and have such two international powerhouses play right here in our city and in our ballpark. So that for me was a lot of fun, a lot of work though, Miles. It was a lot of work, a lot of legal aspects to it, a lot of operational. You're thinking about taking a baseball field and configuring it into a soccer field and a soccer pitch, and a lot went into that because the soccer players are very, very particular about the surface they play on because they don't want to get hurt. So our grounds crew did a tremendous job, and it was a huge success. And I'm hoping that we can have another one, and I hope it's Chelsea. You know?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you see soccer games that come from Europe and they're being played here in the States, it's always like on a football field because it's the right size and everything, it's the right shape. But then you think about a baseball field, it's one of the weirdest shapes and every ballpark's different. So,
Yeah, we had to do a lot of research too. I'm glad you brought that up. We did research of a number of cities that had hosted um, soccer matches previously in their ballparks. Fenway Park, St. Louis had a soccer match, even Wrigley Field, Yankee Stadium. And they're all, to your point, all configured differently. So you have to kind of, measure everything out and still meet the regulations of the pitch that are required to have the match. So the research on the front end, and then once we got there, we had to do all of the operational and sell tickets. You're hoping that the people in Detroit and Michigan were excited about it, and they certainly were. There was a soccer match at Michigan Stadium, whereas Barcelona, there's actually been two in the last, I think, 5 or 6 years, and they've had 100,000 people, and they've had the big names. Barcelona played once, Real Madrid played, Chelsea played. So soccer was a success here in Michigan with these big matches.
All right, so now we're gonna get into our lightning round. So I've got 6 questions for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you it, and then you just say the first thing that comes to mind,
Oh boy.
and can you can either pick to expand on your thoughts, or you can just leave it at that. So
Okay.
the first one is best baseball player of all time.
Best baseball player of all time. I'm gonna go with. Um, wow. I've got a couple that come to mind. I've got. I could. Oof. I could go Willie Mays. I could go Hank Aaron. I could go Ken Griffey Jr.
Any of those three, yeah, they're all greats there, and it's just crazy to see how hard that question is, because
Yeah.
the game of baseball has changed throughout the years. I mean, it started in 1876.
Yes.
That's and we're coming getting close to like 150 years. We just had the 100th anniversary a couple years ago of the MLB, but that's not the 100th anniversary of baseball.
Right.
So
Very, very good. So you know the history.
yeah.
Nice going.
So what's your favorite baseball movie of all time?
Major League.
It's a funny one. Next one. What's your favorite baseball book that you've read or that you've heard about?
Ooh, my favorite baseball book. Favorite. Money. I don't know if I want to say Moneyball is my favorite. It was interesting. Um, Gosh, favorite book. I'll probably have to say. Um, hmm, I'm drawing a blank, but
I mean,
actually, it was. I'll give you one that was one of the first ones I read. It was called The Bronx Zoo, and you'll have to Google that one. But it was a book about the New York Yankees, and back in the late '70s when they had Reggie Jackson and Thurman Munson, and they were winning championships. Um, the Bronx, it was really insightful, like behind the scenes of stories that it was very interesting for me. So I think that one was probably one of the first ones that I read, and then those are the types of I like books that I like the history books, but I like the books that tell me stories, and that was a good storytelling book.
yeah, I've read a bunch of books about baseball, but like they're mostly like little kid books that I read when I was in like second grade.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm reading Moneyball right now because
Good. Good. Yeah,
yeah,
Moneyball's interesting. Very interesting. And then there's the movie too.
yeah. So what's your favorite baseball team?
Wow. The Detroit Tigers, of course. But growing up, I grew up in New Jersey, so I liked believe it or not, the Yankees and the Mets. But I became a big Los Angeles Dodgers fan. But right now, it's absolutely the Tigers, and it's been fun being part of this franchise and getting to meet a lot of the great players that have played here.
So two more lightning round questions. The next one is your favorite ballpark that you've been to.
Well, I really like Fenway Park. I think Fenway Park is the park for me. We'll leave it there.
And the last question is what's your favorite snack to get when you go to a game? Or
Pretzel, pretzel, pretzel with mustard and a hot chocolate. And that's also, I guess you could say that's like a high school or college football special. But I love a pretzel and a hot chocolate. And I might probably have one today.
all right, well, thanks for joining us and or me, and thanks for letting me have this opportunity to interview. And it's been, I think, a very good experience for me to learn more about like different jobs that are in the MLB and I think it'll be very good for our viewers to just learn more about different roles that people can play. So,
It's been fun to meet you and chat a little bit, and I'm really excited for your future. And it's great that you're doing this and that you're such a big avid sports fan, and you got a lot of good things ahead for yourself there, Miles. So keep up the great work. Okay.
all right. So, signing off now. See you guys next time.